Hey, what's happening? It's Bill Smith. We're going to talk about the server. Okay, what is the server? We hear the server a lot in the Q posts. There's been 9 posts that mention the word server. Before we get started, I'm going to clear up a couple things. So earlier in a report today, I put out, I said that Huber reports to Rod Rosenstein, and obviously that's incorrect. He reports to Jeff Sessions. People were quick to point that out, so thank you. I've said this before. I'll say it again. I gave you a source. That was the American Thinker. It's linked from the Drudge Report all the time. They're the only ones that had an article out there about who Huber actually reports to. So take it as you will. If Huber reports directly to Jeff Sessions, and that sounds like that's what's happening, Jeff Sessions did appoint him. He does get regular updates, but Huber's kind of an enigma. All right, there isn't really a lot of mainstream reports on it, and if you say that he reports to Jeff Sessions, you're going off the Q posts, rightfully so, but I always try to match them up with mainstream media reports. So the American Thinkers, I thought it was a trustworthy source. Turns out maybe it's not. Also, correction, Tucker said that Tony Podesta is not going to get offered, he was going to get offered immunity for testifying against Paul Manafort. Now, I said that that's not true, but there was another report that came out today. Fox News doubled down on that position. Tucker Carlson says it's still true. Their sources still say it's going to happen. It's just that Tony Podesta is being offered limited immunity in another case, so a separate charge against Paul Manafort. There's multiple cases open in 2 different jurisdictions. So I just want to clarify that. Okay, but we were going to talk about the server. So there's 9 posts that mention the server. Most of the conversation, when we say, hey, the server, we think that's the Hillary Clinton email server Seth Rich Leak. At least that's where I kind of center the conversation. That's what I'm most interested in. But there was also the John Podesta leak. That was a spear phishing hack off his Gmail server. So the DNC, Hillary Clinton, John Podesta, all got different hacks. Okay, it wasn't just one hack. So I want to clarify that. Now, I found a really good image that at Liz posted. What's up, Liz? And it's a QAnon post. It says, "We have it all." So I wanted to take a look at this and get this on record. So the infographic, it's a meme basically, and it says servers we know about and their potential implications. So hopefully this will clarify the situation. The first one, DNC server. And this covers the Seth Rich leak. So it says files transferred by Seth Rich to Julian Assange. And that's like that's the sexy stuff. Everybody's all about that. I want to know this. The MS13 hit, it says there's 2 people. I actually question the MS13 story. I really think that getting MS13, 2 people in MS13 to create a hit and then killing them wouldn't necessarily cover that track. It wouldn't tie up that rope. I think it'd be safer to have a member of law enforcement or a hitman inside the FBI. They got him, right? It would just be safer to have a registered, warranted hitman steal a gun out of that FBI SUV and then, clip Seth Rich. And he would put down the phone if he was approached by law enforcement. I think that he would probably alert his girlfriend on the phone if he was being approached by 2 Mexicans with tattooed faces. So I'm just saying, that's my guess. That's what I think. I think Seth Rich was targeted and killed by government hitmen. Whether or not that was CIA, FBI, I don't know. I just don't think it was MS-13. So that's just my thought. Q says it was MS-13, so I want to make that clear. QAnon does say it was an MS-13 hit. Okay, so we're talking about servers, though. It's the DNC server. Now, this is the server that the, quote, Russians hacked. Okay, has proof that the DNC worked to ensure Bernie Sanders would never get the nomination. Now, the story goes that Seth Rich learned that Bernie Sanders had like 13 different primaries stolen from him. Stolen. Okay? And that has the email where they talk about John Podesta getting with the Soros company to cook the servers, to pre-program the voting machines. You've seen that email. If not, I'll try to link it. Okay, so this is the server that caused Debbie Wasserman Schultz to step down. It caused the DNC to lose a class action lawsuit for Bernie's donators. So the people that donated to Bernie Sanders thinking they were entering into a fair agreement, they sued the DNC and won, it looks like. And this was what was investigated by CrowdStrike. Now, CrowdStrike is a Google-backed startup that the DNC hired to, quote-unquote, do the investigation, right? And this is what the FBI and James Comey says this is why the FBI didn't need to go take a look at it, because CrowdStrike did it on their behalf. Now, they never looked at the actual machine. What CrowdStrike provided was an image of the network. And people say, oh, that's better. But it's not actual forensic evidence. It's a copy. It could be anything. So that's that story. Now, the next server on our list, so the second out of the 4 servers listed here, is the House Democratic Caucus server. Now, this is news to me, but I know the background on this. Now, Debbie Wasserman Schultz comes back up in this, because this is the server that was managed by her IT repair guy named Imran Awan. Now, you've seen Imran Awan come up on Trump Twitter tweets and QAnon posts. Imran Awan, he's been kind of ghosted. Last reports say that he was offered immunity for any non-violent crimes that occurred before. So it looks like it was a blanket immunity. It looks like Imran Awan has turned state's witness. At least that's the most recent update we got in the news. Now, worth mentioning, I forgot this, but Awan, his wife fled the country quick. He has 2 brothers that were involved with him. He owned a car dealership and was involved in money laundering. He also had access to like 70-something other people in Congress, all their emails, their passwords. I mean, this guy had it all, and he was making copies of it. A bunch of servers were found at his house when people moved out, and I think that they got him on the money laundering charge, but then they turned him into this witness. So the server itself, though, contained the emails of the DNC congressmen. So that's all the Democrat people in Congress. It was used to communicate and send classified information and U.S. state secrets to Pakistan. The server was stolen by Awan and is still missing, supposedly. Now, Pakistan is not our ally. They're at odds with our ally, India. India and Pakistan used to be the same country around World War II until it split and all the Muslims went to Pakistan. Pakistan is where we supposedly found Osama bin Laden, and also worth mentioning, Pakistan has nukes. And we send them a lot of aid, from what I remember. Okay, so that was the second server on the list. That was the House Democratic Caucus server. So that was the server used to host the emails and probably other stuff for Democratic members of the House. Okay, third on the list, Clinton private email server. It was owned by Clinton. It was located inside her home. It was used to divert traffic from her state's email address to avoid Freedom of Information Act requests. So discovery by the general public. It contained emails with classified information. BlackBerry devices that had been used to access the server were destroyed with hammers. 33,000 emails were deleted using BleachBit, never to be seen by authorities. So when you hear people talk about where's the 33,000 missing Hillary Clinton emails, that's what they're talking about. They're talking about the server that she hosted in her basement. The last point on this is it says many foreign powers may have hacked it. And why wouldn't they? She didn't have a private security team watching over this stuff. She probably didn't even care. What does she care? They're in control of everything. They're selling it anyway. You know? Who cares if you get something out of her emails? That's probably what she thought. I'm guessing that they're pretty relaxed with this stuff. Now, also worth mentioning, it's not on this list, but I think the Anthony Weiner emails tie into this stuff. On the recent OIG report, there's 2 bombshells in there. A lot of people miss this. I mentioned it before, but there is a line in there from an FBI report talking about Hillary Clinton crimes against children as part of the evidence on that laptop. So, who knows what was on that Hillary Clinton private email server? Now, the 4th server on the list is the Gmail server in North Korea. Now, this one might be new to some people, okay, but there's some Q drops that do mention it, and I'll show you that in a second. But it says, it drops which indicate there is a private Gmail server in North Korea. This corresponds with the fact that North Korea was owned by the CIA and the cabal until Donald J. Trump took office. This server was set up by Eric Schmidt himself. Letter sent to Trump from North Korea looks and is positioned like the Gmail logo without the red M, indicating a transfer of those emails to the Trump admin Q team. So that's really all we know about it. There's really been no reports about this Gmail server in North Korea. We can go check out the Q stuff just to see where it's at. Again, these are all the ones that mention server. So here's some stuff about reread the drops, about Five Eyes. We have the server. Rod Rosenstein has a deadline. Julian Assange, America for sale. Awan is bigger than you can imagine. Talking about Seth Rich and Julian Assange in June. They said the ETA has been estimated. It has begun. Server unlocks Seth Rich. There's more stuff about Seth Rich. And this was posted on June 11th. So Q was really playing up the Seth Rich stuff just as much as the rest of us were. It turns out that it was all about North Korea. But here's another mention of CrowdStrike. This is back in February. It will be made public soon, and it has. Hack DNC servers. And here's an early post. So this is from December, and it talks about the Iran nuclear deal, North Korea nuke missile tech, SpaceX, NASA tech, Hillary Rodham Clinton SAP's private server. Then it talks about the left eye, a marker, symbolism. So there are several servers involved in our conversation. I don't know how to separate them all. I don't want to be the guy that decide, how we keep the conversation straight. But I think generally when we talk about the QAnon post, we don't really make the distinction between which server we're talking about. So it's important to know there's 4 servers in the conversation. There's the DNC server attached to Seth Rich, the House Democratic Caucus server attached to the Imran Awan investigation, the Hillary Clinton private email server, which is probably attached to the Anthony Weiner laptop, and then this unknown Gmail server that we don't have a lot of details about in North Korea, supposedly set up by Eric Schmidt. And for some people, for some people new to the conversation, that might seem a little far-fetched, right? Except for we have pictures of Eric Schmidt in North Korea. I'm going to show you some pictures, like there it is. I'll just get to the point. That's the picture. Eric Schmidt is in North Korea. So if you don't see the picture, you wouldn't think it's real. It's not to say that this stuff couldn't be photoshopped or edited, but I think by all accounts, there are reports of him officially being there. So there he is. It lines up with everything that we're talking about. I shouldn't even have to say it, but I know there's going to be people new to the conversation here. Okay, the other thing I wanted to point out just before I get off here is Eric Schmidt. It seems weird that he's not in, predictive. There he is down here, but it was really hard to find his name up here. That's him. He used to be the CEO of Google. All right, well, until next time, this is Bill Smith. Thanks for watching.